Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Legendary Founding Titan. Took me a little longer to come to this video, but here we are. The reason why, it was actually supposed to be, let me just close this crap. It was supposed to be a video of these tier lists coming out, after one another, like each day sort of deal, instead of, what it has been, which has been every 2 days. I plan to, well, the next three tier lists are going to be, day after day. You don't gotta wait 2 days for them. But I've been messing around with thumbnail editing, trying to make my thumbnails better lately. Just been trying to improve my skills as far as my creation of, just thumbnails, editing, you know, trying to get better with a lot of stuff. Trying to get better with camera work, mic settings, a bunch of other stuff. Yeah. And what I mean by camera settings, I've been messing around with. I can't really spoil that, but I've been going into projects, preparing for other projects in the future. I'll just leave it at that, really. But for now, let's get into the tier list. So, today, we're finishing off the UNSC, which the final one is Cutter, and he has, of course, the elephant, and he has the ODST. Right. So, I stated in the last video, or I think every video, probably at this point, in every vanilla game, in every vanilla tier list I have done, I more than likely mentioned this. I see Captain Cutter as the absolute king of Halo Wars. Like, without a doubt, really. Like, I think Cutter just has a lot of advantages, especially in late game. In early game, I do think in early game, Captain Cutter does probably have the weakest early game, in my opinion. Just because Forge has like the economy boost in the early game, and Anders has that huge upgrade boost. Her upgrades are half price, half time sort of deal. Um, I think Anders. This might be a hot take, but I think Anders is probably like the best Warthog rusher. I haven't played in a long time. PvP. I haven't played PvP in a long time, but from what I remember, I think Anders Warthog rushes are probably the best you're gonna get because the economy thing isn't really that big of an issue. You don't really need to have double supply pads up to pump Warthogs. Warthogs don't cost anything. It's mainly time and to research the Warthog upgrades, which is a lot cheaper for Anders. So I do think that she has the best Warthog rush possible. That's just my opinion. It might be Forge. I think Forge could be the best Warthog rush if you quickly get a second base and start pumping Warthogs from there, because you'll definitely have the economy to do so. Um, but if you're just running one base, that those extra resources aren't being put to use. So Anders realistically has probably the best Warthog rush. But anyway, this is beyond that. I do mention the Warthog rushes because I do think every single time I have played Cutter and anytime I have seen Cutters on the field, they typically do get rushed. And this is kind of why I say Cutter, you do need to be pretty good with him to actually make the full use out of him, because I do think Cutter has probably one of the most rough early games. But in late game, he is Big Daddy. Late game, Cutter is Big Daddy. He owns the house at that point. All right. So it's just a little bit of things that I think Cutter suffers at is early game, but as he gets stronger and stronger, his power just excels beyond belief. Like he just gets beyond crazy in late game. Um, and we'll talk about that. So let's talk about the leaders first. All right, let's talk about the leaders on who he's weak against, struggles against, and is strong against. I think I had to replace Forge's picture so it looks different from normal. From the last two videos. But Prophet. Let's see. I need to put the leaders all together. Where's Prophet and Arbiter? Arbiter. Yoo-hoo. Oh, there he is. All right. I guess we'll start with Forge. I think because of the early game, I do think Forge definitely. He will definitely struggle against a Forge if that Forge really makes use of his early game. Early game Forge just has it way better than Cutter in my opinion. Now of course his power still is just a carpet bomb versus the Mac Blast, so even in early game, Cutter does beat him in the Mac Blast for with the Mac Blast power. But I think that just the early game is so rough. Forge could definitely get a foothold before Cutter is even remotely online. Most of the time, anyway. I think Cutter is kind of like online around 15-minute mark. I'd say like he's starting to get up there at the 15-minute mark, maybe the 20-minute mark. He's like doing pretty well. But until then, it's kind of a rough time by comparison when you compare him to, Forge and Anders. Forge and Anders can really just, like, utilize their early game kit against Cutter. Same as Chieftain. Chieftain also can do a lot in the early game. I think that's where the main problem comes from. But if we're talking late game, Forge definitely would go down here. But because of the early game being so rough, I will just put him in struggles against. But it's more like I would say Forge, once we get the leaders up here, you'll kind of see he's kind of like the more low end of struggles against, I feel. Anders. One of the toughest characters for Cutter to fight, but I don't think she's definitely not like a weakness. Like it's not like kryptonite against Cutter. I think Anders does, she's kind of seen as the second strongest character out of all of them. I think she's really good, but I do think she's on the higher end of struggles against, but not, yeah, definitely better than Forge against a Cutter, but yeah, I do think she has the best Warthog Rush against him, and that's where you definitely want to try to beat Cutter down in the early game. But if the Cutter can beat and survive the early game, you might be kind of fucked. Because Cutter is just... Once it gets to mid to late game, he is cooking. He's cooking in that oven. And it's bad. What he brings out is bad. Alright? It's not doing too good. Chieftain. I'll say struggles. I think he probably struggles with him more than Forge. Maybe. Does he struggle more than Forge? I think early game Cheetah is definitely more of a threat. But if Brute Cheetah's trying to build like brutes and stuff in the 15 to 20-minute mark, and Cutter's pumping ODSTs out, no. I think Forge is definitely more of a threat than Chieftain. Chieftain probably would be on the lower end. Because I do mention a lot that Forge, typically does, would go for Grizzlies, but realistically, he wouldn't. Like, I say in the Forge tier list, I suggested that, Forge with his kit, um, his weaknesses were because a lot of the time were because of his Grizzly, but in a realistic match, you're not going for it. I was just showcasing. Uh, I was kind of just showcasing what it's like for Forge, um, with his base kit, which is the Grizzly. That's the thing that sucks about Forge though, is like in the late game you really have nothing. The Cyclops isn't that great. The Grizzly isn't that great, and the Carpet Bomb is kind of meh. Unless you're fighting specifically against infantry forces or a solid line of Cobras. That's the only two times that a Carpet Bomb actually does anything, and even then it won't kill them all. It'll hurt them, but it won't kill them. Unless it's like max Carpet Bomb, but honestly, I don't see the point in upgrading it all the way, as it's not really worth your time, to be honest. Um, Unless you just have like spare resources just to, throw out there, I don't think it's really worth doing that. Messing with much with the Carpet Bomb, but yeah, I do think, because of Cutter's base kit, and if specifically, I would build Grizzlies against a Cutter if I was Forge. Um, as Cutter would want to go for ODSCs no matter what. I mean, even if Cutter is primarily focusing on vehicles, you can guarantee that he's still gonna have ODSTs because it's his power. He can drop in 10 ODSTs at will. So no matter what, he's gonna want those ODSTs because that's a huge part of his kit. His magic of his aggression. Cutter is very aggressive. He's a very aggressive leader in late game. Which is kind of funny because, like, in the early game, he's very defensive, especially when you consider that, like, every elephant strat that you do is more defensive than offensive. Um, and even, like, with the Marines and ODSTs, like, you're typically using them for securing towers and everything else. So, like, the early to mid game, Cutter is mostly defense, but in the late game, he's offense. Massive offense aggressor. And because of which, yeah, I do think Forge is a better counter than against Cutter than Chieftain is. I think Prophet. I think Cutter is very strong against, mainly because I mentioned this in the other video. Cutter wants, or Prophet wants to target your reactors, but Cutter is the most efficient at calling forces back to his base, especially since he can just drop them in. There's not much a Prophet can really do, really. Uh, Not that that's the only thing the Prophet can do, but like, I mean, even a few ODSTs can fuck up a freaking Prophet pretty badly. A Mac Blast can fuck him up if he can get hit by it. Prophet has to be very cautious at all times with a Cutter. And because of which, I really don't think, Prophet can really make too many plays. Even if, like, Prophet tries to teleport in Locusts, Cutter can just drop an ODSTs right on top of those Locusts and just kill them. Because by the time a Prophet has his chair upgrade, unless he just fully rush towards that, which at that point, if he fully rushed towards that, he's not going to have an army anyway. But if he, realistically, you're gonna have an army, you're gonna have a flying Prophet. And by that point, yeah, more than likely Cutter has ODSTs, and he can just quickly respond to your attacks at any given point. So yeah, pretty much, he's really strong against him. Not much he can really do realistically. Arbiter, I would say he's probably. I would say strong against, honestly. Uh, yeah, I would say strong against because, I mean, Scorpions for one, which granted in the last tier list, I said Anders, Arbiter, was strong against Anders, but I don't know. I think I think Arbiter is like, I don't know. I don't really have much of an issue with Arbiter when I'm playing Cutter, especially once those ODSTs are online. Because even for an Arbiter, ODSTs are very tanky, and they do enough damage to where Arbiter doesn't really want to face tank it either. Um, that Arby's fucking ad is like distracting the hell out of me because that looks so fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. Look at them fries. Hot damn. But anyway, the fucking Arbiter. I don't know. I think I don't know. ODSTs are just a strong counter to Arbiter. On top of that, the even the elephant is actually really strong against his leader. It would take a little bit for an Arbiter to kill an elephant, which is kind of sad to say. Um, but also Cutter's power. I don't know. I I just feel like his kit is way better than Anders, specifically when it comes to fighting Arbiter. I don't know, like when I'm playing Cutter, I don't think I've ever had an issue with an Arbiter, even on PvP. I'll be honest with you. And I play Cutter quite a bit. Because I typically built like ODSTs with Scorpions, and an Arbiter really doesn't do anything, especially with the canister of those like Spartan tanks. Like a single canister really could just kill an Arbiter pretty much instantly. Which, with that, with that, I mean, if the Spartans are high level. Now that can be said for all the UNSC leaders, but I feel like when you're talking about their base kit though, like Anders, because Anders has like air, and I did say in that list that Anders, I did say Arbiter would be weak against Anders, but realistically, finding out about the glitches that you could do with Arbiter, like the Warthog thing, I was told that apparently there's a way you could glitch the Arbiter into a Warthog or something, and the Arbiter can get stuck on even that. So, I mean, if you can master shit like that as well, um, maybe Arbiter should be in struggles against, but there's also some glitches with Arbiter that are very strong for Arbiter. For instance, I don't actually know how to do it, but I've seen people do it. And it's his super speedy Gonzalez build, where it's a glitch where he goes almost double the speed of, like, he'll go as fast as like some fucking warthogs or even faster. It's fucking nuts. I had to look up videos on it because I have never actually done these glitches. The only glitch I've ever done was the canny glitch, and I've only been able to pull that off like a few times before I stopped playing PvP entirely. So yeah, these glitches that Arbiter can do both are a handicap and do benefit him at times. Um, Especially against Warthogs because he can just fucking zoom, dude. I've seen a video where he just goes fucking like Mach 5 practically. He just goes across the entire fucking map like nothing. It's nuts. I just feel like, because the thing is too, Arbiter is invisible, so he can like sneak around, but like, Cutter can quickly, like I said, Cutter can quickly respond to any base attack. So even with 4 max or 10 ODSTs, I mean, there's not much an Arbiter can really do. He can't stealth. He can't stealth a base. He can't. He can't fight ODSTs that well. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave him there. Honestly, this is the first time out of the 3 characters between Anders, Forge, and Cutter where no one goes in weak against. I don't think anyone realistically goes in weak against. Like, I do see a big argument that it's the same way with Anders, but I do think Arbiter, if it's a good Arbiter player, I do firmly believe if it's a good Arbiter player, knows what he's doing. Because I've seen some disgusting Arbiter players back in my day, and yeah, especially the Super Turtle Arbiters. If you see a Super Turtle Arbiter and he's using glitches and shit, you're in for a rough time because those arbiters are like MVPs. I feel like this might be a hot take, honestly, but I feel like some of the people that play arbiter are probably some of the most skilled at Halo Wars. I'm not gonna lie. The shit that I've seen them do, it's fucking nuts. Like I remember, like I felt like I was watching just the god of Halo Wars playing. Anytime I saw like a really good arbiter player. Now, the average Joe arbiter, would probably go up here. Well, no, they would stay down there. I mean, for Anders, I meant for Anders, because Anders, I said arbiter deserves to be in here, weak against, but against if it's average Joe arbiter, probably down here. But I don't know. Against Cutter though, I think even a good arbiter goes there. It's just I don't know, man. Cutter is just really strong against this kid, I feel. But let's move on to units. So we got the Hawk. So against a Forge, I said these units were strong because Forge doesn't really have much of a answer to them. But with ODST drop pods, I'd argue now. This might be a hot take. I'm gonna get roasted in the comments for this. I think he's strong against. I think he's really strong against fucking Hawks. I think because of the rock paper scissors cycle, you only need like 3 ODSTs to kill a single Hawk. You could drop 10 of them anywhere at the map. If you get a solid Mac off, you could take out like half those Hawks since you have 4 fucking Macs. They have to be spread out at all times. Those Hawks have to be spread out at all times when fighting a Cutter, for sure. Unless you know for sure his Mac is down. But other than that, no. They have to be spread. Otherwise, they're going to get fucking nuked. And, Wolverines, like I said before, they're not locked from anyone. So, Wolverines are a great counter to Hawks. I think Cutter has the most answers to air, though. Realistically, I do think he has the most counters to air. He has a great Mac. He has the ODSTs, which do double damage or whatever it is. I think it's a little bit more to double damage or something like that to air. Rock paper scissors cycle, you do more damage. Infantry does more damage to air, sort of deal. And ODSTs are tanky as fuck. Hawks aren't. And okay, let's put it this way. All right, even if you want to make the argument, well, an army of Hawks can beat an army of ODSTs. Okay. But more than likely, half of those Hawks are dying. And even if that was the case, you still lost. You want to know why? Hawks cost 250 and ODSTs cost 100. That's the problem. In order to efficiently fight ODSTs with Hawks, you would have to kill, in order to make it a proper trade of an armies, 40 Hawks would have to kill. Wait, let me just think about this for a minute. So there's 20 Hawks in an army. That's about 250 times 20, is that right? 250. So 5 Hawks are 1,000. No. 4 Hawks are 1,000. Which means so your army of Hawks are basically 5k. Is that right? 4 Hawks, 254. Yeah. So your Hawks are 5k, right? Altogether. So, in order for them to kill an army of ODSTs, I'm trying to think, how to explain this. So, okay. So, resource-wise, right? Those Hawks would have to kill pretty much... I guess it's not as much as I thought. It is 50 ODSTs, though. It is 50 ODSTs, which more than likely, like I said, more than likely you're gonna lose more than half of those Hawks though. And that's never gonna happen. You're never gonna see just a full army of ODSTs. You're gonna see probably like 20 ODSTs, some Wolverines. You ain't killing all that. You ain't killing all that. Let me tell you. I mean, immediately, if you're the thing is, Hawks can't macro. That's the big thing too. They can't micro. And what I mean by that is like ODSTs have abilities, Hawks don't, which means four ODSTs fired rockets at one Hawk. Oh, another group of 40 ODSTs shot a bunch of rockets at another one. There's two Hawks down already. Here comes Wolverines doing the same fucking thing. Like you can take out Hawks left and right. All right. I don't know, Chief. The way I see it, if you're microing them, those Hawks don't have a chance in hell. They really don't. ODSTs are tanky as fuck. I do think, if you're not microing them, it's gonna be a back and forth battle between ODSTs and Hawks. But realistically, if you're microing them, because like I said, Hawks can't micro. They can't. They don't have any abilities. And having abilities is a big thing in Halo Wars. Hawks are still good, don't get me wrong, but against ODSTs, not so much. I just not realized there's a fucking ODST here. I'm gonna put him down because we're talking about him right now. So, yeah, I'm just gonna leave Hawk there. I think he's really strong against them. I think I made all my reasons. Grunt Squad with the Elite in it. They don't do much against basic Marines. What the fuck are they doing as ODSTs? Even an elephant can square up against like 10 of them. Yeah. No, it's definitely strong against. ODST, like, Cutter is never building fucking. I honestly think you can say what you want with Forge and Hornets. I would kind of agree that Forge building Hornets early game is not that bad because you can pump so many out at quick succession. Cutter, on the other hand, I don't see any point of him building it. I don't see him having any point of building Hornets in a 3v3 or 2v2 setting because he's not gonna have the advantage against any Covenant leader in the air or a Forge or an Anders. Like, he has no advantage in the air. So I'm gonna say strong against it because he's not building anything in the air. I argue that Cutter is a full-on ground guy. He's just getting it with infantry, getting it with tanks. That's what that man's all about. He's all about lockdown, and he's all about heavy-duty offense. That's what he's all about. Banshee, I feel like no one's totally safe from them. I mean, even if you do quickly respond to them with an ODST force, like, I'd still argue it would be a struggle because a full army of Banshees is scary to anyone. Even if you mac them all down, I don't know. Even if you mac them and you drop ODSTs on them, there's still gonna be like 30 Banshees at your base, hammering you if they got away with a full force. I mean, of Banshees. I won't say he's weak against that. Definitely not. It's definitely on the lower end of struggles against and strong against. So I keep pulling things from down here. So damn it. Okay. We'll move that Banshee down there. Yeah, I keep pulling shit from down here. Fucking hell. Spartan. I mean, I feel like Spartans are always gonna be a struggle for anyone just because of how overpowered they are. I mean, it's a double-sided coin with Spartans though. When you are UNSC, that is, because you could obviously build them yourself and counter those Spartans with your own. So it's always a double-sided coin. You're never truly safe from them. I was leaving there. Struggles against brutes with booty shots. I'll say strong against. I'll say strong against. I don't think you're building these guys against a cutter. You're building them against a forge. You're building them against like someone that's building locusts or wraiths. Not really building them for someone that's like. I feel like the way to play cutter is like you have 20 infantry guys and 20 vehicles, like 20 pop-up vehicles. That's how I play them, at least. I kind of balance it between the two, honestly. But yeah, I just don't feel like you're building that against a cutter. It's just a single ODST can like square up against like 2 or 3 of those guys. I feel. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but in a tower, it definitely is. Same difference with this guy. There's just no point in building him. ODST's on the field. They're just fucked. Cyclops strong against. I mean, everyone's pretty much strong against this thing, but even, more so for Cutter. Considering how powerful rockets are to vehicles, I'm pretty sure an ODST could probably one-tap that thing. I'm not really sure, though. With that rocket, I feel like if it was like a starred ODST, it'd probably kill a fucking Cyclops in one hit. Cyclops. Warthog. Did I pull from down here again? I have no idea. I don't know if my shit is messed up or not, to be honest. It's so confusing. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. I'm not missing anything from that up here, am I? Okay. Let's do it like that, then. Yeah, okay. What did I pull up there? Did I pull anything up? I don't even know. Okay, I don't think I did. Trooper. Weak against. No, I'm kidding. Imagine that's the first thing. First thing to be weak against is a fucking chopper. No. Strong, very strong against like this thing. I mean, I don't even want to talk about it. It's fucking worthless, dude. Like it is. I'd never build them unless I'm just joking around. They're trash, dude. Absolutely trash. They're not bad like early game when you're ramming Covenant leaders, I guess. They're kind of funny to do that because they do so much damage with their ram. But, like, other than ramming, like, early game leaders, like, you're not ramming a 6-star chieftain. Like, it's not good. It's gonna tickle his asshole. I mean, really. So, yeah, fuck that thing. Warthogs. I was talking about this earlier in the video. Realistically, Warthogs you're only building early game. And I do feel like he does struggle the most. Like, if any UNSC leader does struggle the most against Warthogs, it is Cutter. I just feel like Forge and Anders have an easier time pumping Warthog rushes. If they know what they're doing, they just have an advantage, Forge has the eco boost and Anders has the upgrade boost. So, it just gives Cutter no food advantage against that. Cutter, you really gotta build more defensive with it, I feel. Personally, what I do, at least, I don't know if this would work anymore, because I haven't touched PvP in so long. But what I used to do, I would build I would build like, 2 supply pads first. Well, no, I would build a supply pad first, reactor, upgrade a supply pad, and then, well, no. I don't even remember anymore. I built 2 supply pads, a reactor, and then I'd start building. Shit. I don't remember. No. Okay. No. Okay. I built 2 supply pads first, and I built 2 turrets, and then I would get a barracks. I'd build marines. I'd get a third supply pad, and then a reactor, and then I'd build rail guns on my turrets. That's what I used to do, and then I'd build marines as like a cannon fodder almost. That was my way of countering warthog rushes. It didn't work all the time, um, but that was the way I did it. I think that's just the way I did it. I don't know. I don't think that would be relevant anymore though. Especially since people are probably more efficient now. I haven't touched PvP in like years, honestly. But I still know, the meta, and I still watch people play it every now and again. So I still know what's relevant, and I do think Warthogs against Cutter is it's rough. It is rough because you're not gonna be able to do the same thing as them. If you can't keep up with their production with Warthogs unless like your allies help you in some way. I don't know. I don't know. Scorpion. I feel like it's a double-sided coin as well with the Spartan. It's just, obviously you're gonna struggle against it because your best thing is ODSTs, and Scorpions are really good against ODSTs. Any tank is good against ODSTs or any infantry unit. But I do think ODSTs, like if they're veteran and shit, they can mess up a tank pretty bad. Uh, if you have decent size amount, if you have a decent amount of ODSTs, you can mess up anything pretty bad. I mean, even a Scarab, I fucked up a Scarab pretty bad with just ODSTs. It's crazy what those motherfuckers can do. But I don't know. It's a double-sided coin. You can build them. They can build them. I feel like no one's truly safe against a Scorpion. That's just how it is. That's elephants. That's what we have. So I'll put that back down there. Engineer. So I might as well talk about this because anytime I put a Scarab up, Engineer and Scarab, I just talk about them both at the same time because these two units are they're buddies, they're buddies with each other, let's be real. You ain't building this without an engineer, and you're not building an engineer without a fucking Scarab. Or a leader, a Covenant leader. But realistically, like, if you're mass producing these guys, you're only using it to buff this guy. So these two are kind of just best friends. They just kind of, they gotta go together, I feel. And against a Cutter, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go weak against, or sorry, yeah, is that right? Yeah, strong against. I'm gonna go against strong. 4 max. What you could do is, you just get this fucking Scarab blow with your tanks. The engineers make a desperate, run to help the Scarab. Mac those motherfuckers. Mac those motherfuckers, because they're gonna try to fucking heal that Scarab regardless. And you're gonna watch all those fucking engineers die. And more likely, the Scarab's gonna die. I don't think there's any way a Scarab and engineer really work. Again, another situational thing where it's like, if you have a good team, yada yada yada, it gets a veteran, it could be very strong, of course. Right? But more often than not, you're probably not gonna do much with that Scarab. It's a simple fact, really. Locust. Gets dogged on. Gets laughed on. 2 ODSTs drop down. What's it doing? Getting fucked on the ass. Oh, you surprised with six Locust? Wow. Here comes 10 ODSTs. Oh, they're all dead. Yeah. I mean, unless you're building a massive army of, like, Locusts, but even then, like, I mean, honestly, 10 ODSTs would still fuck up like an entire army of locusts, because they're not. It's not like the locusts are gonna kill them. They're not gonna target those ODSTs. They're not gonna target it. They're gonna target that base. And if you have a Mac ready, more than likely most of those locusts are dead, because you ain't fucking running with those things. They're slower than shit. So more than likely those locusts are dead against a cutter, no doubt. Especially if it has 4 Mac, you might as well just be fucking sending him on a suicide mission. Gremlo. Gremlin. There's also another recycled unit. I need to fucking throw his ass in the garbage disposal. There we go. Get the fuck out of here. I already talked about your ass. Gremlin. I say strong against. If there's, I mean, it could be struggle against if the Anders knows really precise positioning, but like, I don't know. I mean, gremlins are so weak, even a single ODST rocket can nearly kill it in one hit. So I don't see it. I don't see it, really. I think they're just getting fucked. I'm just gonna leave them there. Hunter! Strong against. I mean, obviously your tanks are always in danger from them, but I mean there is a lot of ways around scorpions. There's a lot of ways for scorpions to get around warthogs. Jesus criminy. There's a lot of ways for scorpions to get around hunters. There we go. Third time's a fucking charm. There's a lot of ways for scorpions to get around hunters. And ODSTs could just stop them anyway. Not doing much with those, I feel. Obviously, it's situational. If you're building a massive army of hunters and he's building a massive army of scorpions, then yeah, I mean, you're probably gonna win. But more often than not, like he's probably gonna, like, I don't know. Feel like a cutter has it in the bag with hunters. Typically, I feel like cutters has a lot of options to fight them. Especially since his infantry is actually really good, and USC already have such great vehicles. So, yeah. Wolverine. Strong against. He's not building air. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a cutter build air, and I don't think I've ever built air as cutter, apart from like the mods. Vanilla though, I'm never building air as cutter. There's no point. You're always going to be behind. If the enemy builds air and you try to build air to keep up with them, you're always going to be behind. So you might as well just play more defensively. Right? Ain't that how we do things? I feel like that has to be the case, honestly. Ghost! Absolutely weak against. These motherfuckers will tear through ODSTs like god dang butter, let me tell you. I mean, I've never seen such magic. For whatever reason, ghosts get a 10 times multiplier against fucking ODSTs. I don't get why that is, but they do. They will shred through ODSTs like nothing. Why? I have no idea. No, I'm fucking joking! You actually thought, huh? Nah, everyone knows. You know how it is. You know how it is. These things ain't doing much, mama. They ain't never do. It'd be so funny if someone just paused a video like, wait, what? And they fucking try that and he gets fucking railed in the ass. It's like, you lied to me, you sack of shit. No. Yeah, they ain't they ain't doing much, mama. They ain't doing much. There's another recycled unit, I just not noticed. Fuck that thing. I already talked about him. He ain't doing much. So Suicide Grunt, they ain't doing much. Hornet. I mean, kind of the same deal. I mean, I kind of talk about with the Hawk. It's just so many options Cutter has against air. And he doesn't build air in either, so. I mean, granted. Well, no. I was gonna try to make a case for him, but no. There is no case to be made, really. Flamers, I feel like, I mean, they're anti-infantry. I can definitely see a struggle against. Maybe the lower end of struggles against. They can stun an ODST, so you can stun them from getting into a tower. So that's not so bad. But, I mean, you're not going to really stop them, though, from getting into a tower. I mean, you might stop a squad, but, like, another ODST pod's going to be coming down anyway, so. Either way, you ain't stopping at ODSTs with flamers. You're gonna stop maybe a couple of squads, but they're still gonna get in that tower because fucking ODSTs are resilient as hell, and they will just keep calling down more motherfuckers to take their place. As Hydra would put it in from Marvel, it's kind of the same deal with ODSTs, and that is cut off one head, two more shall take its place. And that's basically the fucking ODST's motto, like, honestly. Only, it's not two, it's more like 100. Grizzly. I mean, it definitely depends. It definitely does depend. If it's a 14 armored Grizzly, you might be in a little bit of a rough pickle. I feel like the main thing is, though, you're using these guys to just, you know, to peel the ODSTs off. That's the main thing. You're using them to peel the ODSTs off of you. Because Grizzlies are definitely the best thing against ODSTs. No doubt in my mind, they are. They have the HP pool to match them, even if a full army of ODSTs. Well, okay, a full army of ODSTs will like pretty much destroy it instantly, but it takes quite a lot. Like I think even if you have 10 ODSTs fire on it with missiles, it's not gonna kill it. They can take a shit ton of punishment from ODSTs, and yeah, I mean they can take a lot more punishment than Scorpions. And like it's only their canister that does less damage, but their canister is actually still got one tap a fucking infantry unit, if I'm not mistaken. If not, their main guns are still better than a Scorpion against fucking infantry. Their main guns are continuously fire, like continue. They non-stop fire pretty much. Their main guns do. They'll just keep firing, boom, 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 boom. You know, kind of like that. And their damage is quite significant against infantry. I feel like you're just using them to peel off, you know, ODSTs, but if Cutter does go for a full force of Scorpions, you might need to fall back and make a Cobra line to counter that. So Grizzlies, you know, they have their ups and downs, but if any time to build Grizzlies, if there is a time to build Grizzlies, it's when ODSTs become a huge pain in your ass. That's when you build them. For sure. Honor Guard strong against. There's just nothing he can do. Wraith. Um. Hmm. I'll say the low end of struggles against. I do think Wraiths do have quite significant firepower against infantry, but that's about the only thing they are doing is killing infantry. Because, you know, their Scorpions are just going to outpower those Wraiths, so that's just how it is. Jackals, definitely one of the stronger picks against Cutter. You know, Jackals are great against those ODSTs. Nothing to be really said after that. Cobra! Cobra! I'm not gonna say strong against, but if they're set up properly, you know, You know what? I'm putting him strong against. I honestly don't think there is a way to make them like unless you're making a Vulcan, where you just pack like 50 fucking Cobras on top of each other. I don't see it actually. Well, even then, like, even if you do a Vulcan, like, you can just drop 4 max and then drop 10 ODSTs on it, have them all fire at once, and then most of those Cobras are probably gonna die. Yeah, I think if you have a good line, because it's not like it takes a lot. Like, you can literally just streamline fucking ODSTs to the Cobra line and max them from there. So, yeah. I don't think there's much it could do, to be honest. I said a Cobra's on the higher end of strong against, but I mean, I don't bother with the strong against because, he's strong against it, so. There are certainly some arguments to be made that some of these units would be struggles against, but I see it more as strong against, to be honest. Vulture, just no chance. Just absolutely no chance. I mean, listen, unless you're looking for a butt pounding of a lifetime, don't build that thing. Now, if you're looking for a butt pounding of the lifetime, like, that's what you build. There you go. Your men are gonna be like, oh my god! Ooh! And then they're gonna go, oh! And fucking crash on the ground and then get fucked in the ass. That's what's gonna happen. That is what's going to happen if you put a Vulture. I'm just spitting out facts now, let me tell you. Take notes, ladies and gentlemen. Take notes. Marines. I mean, ODSTs are just better. They're way better. Strong against. And now we go from left to right. So left is strongest counter. Right is weakest counter. So, in terms of, I don't know. In terms of... shit. So in terms of leaders, I do think Anders is probably the biggest struggle against it. I think she's the definite strongest pick against a cutter. Next following would be... These two are kind of at the same spot. I think based off of rushing capabilities, though, and late game potential, I think Chieftain. Because Chieftain, I mean, he's not that greatest against ODSTs, but Chieftain's also not going to be too bothered by an army of ODSTs. Like, he's just going to be like, what are you doing? Why are you shooting me? Stop it. I don't like being tickled. I mean, even if you have a fucking army on top of him with like 40 ODSTs, it's like shooting him in the face. Like, he's just gonna be like, stop tickling me. And he's got Vortexer guys. He's got to suck them all up and fuck them in the ass. And that's just gonna be the end of that, honestly. And then that Forge. Banshee. I think it's actually more like this. I think Scorpion is a higher priority target. Banshee then. Yeah, I'll leave Spartan there, I guess. I think the Wraith is a little bit more like... Yeah, I'll leave Wraith there, I think. I think that's a good spot for it. And then weakest... I honestly think the Warthog's probably his weakest counter, I'm not gonna lie. I think... Yeah, I think a Warthog is like his weakest counter. Like, if you can beat him in the early game, which Um, you know, it just depends on what that cutter does. I think his early game is definitely the weakest out of any Unicy. Even almost Covenant too. I think Cutter has some of the weakest early game. I think the only character that has a weaker early game is like uh maybe Prophet, because Prophet's like booty cheeks in the early game. I mean, it has a shield, but like, what's it doing? It's getting like farted on, and then his health is like nothing. His beam does like little to no damage. It costs too much for what little it does early game. Uh, I think Prophet is probably the worst early game, but outside of that, like no. Cutter probably is the second worst early game, to be honest with you. But like, I mean, you can see the list. You can definitely see the list, though. I mean, there's not. I mean, Cutter is just like I said. Majority of this list does take priority more in the mid to late game, and I mean, like I said, he's Big Daddy. Cutter is Big Daddy. He don't give a fuck. He's coming to fuck some ass, right? You follow me? Cutter is coming to fuck some ass, and like I said, there is always justify. There is always things you can justify. Like, of course, the Scarab Engineer, if you could get a 3-star, yada, yada, yada. There is certain things like that you could get away with at times. Like, I'm not saying that, like, none of these units are ever gonna fucking beat him. But these are the units that, realistically, he is strong against. And these are the units that he would struggle against. But don't take that the wrong way as, like, choppers aren't ever gonna beat him, or ghosts are never gonna beat him. I mean, I've come to realize that in RTS games, anything can work if you know what you're doing. And even ghosts, because ghosts have the 14 times damage to ODSTs. You know what I mean? But no, seriously though, like if you know what you're doing, like anything in any tier can realistically get the jump or surprise on Cutter. I know I made a lot of excuses with like the carpet, the back blast, and the ODST. Like, they could beat majority of this list, but I mean they can, and it's not like it's on a huge cooldown for the Mag Blast. I mean, it kind of is, but like the things that you could do with 4 max is nuts. Especially if you're not careful with how you place your units, it could do a lot. Um, yeah, but but yeah, I mean, it's not impossible for him to be defeated by all of this. It's not impossible. It's just those are the things that I think realistically he is strong against, though. Um, you can disagree or agree. I won't take too much. I won't cry too much. Uh, but let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Like I said, this is definitely. I mean, the main thing with a lot of these guys is like it's a double-sided coin, right? Like all the Unity units like are a double-sided coin because he can build majority of these guys, apart from the Cyclops and the Hawk and Grizzly. But not that you would want to build this thing anyway, apart from certain very specific circumstances. But yeah, I mean, that's just how it is, you know. Um, that's just how I see the list. And obviously, it's a tier list. Everyone has a different take on it. So, I would like to know what y'all think about this one. I feel like this one's going to get some shit just because there's hardly anything that he's weak against. But I really don't see much things he is, like, truly weak against. I mean, obviously, anyone's weak against a 3-star Scarab. Anyone's weak against a 13-star Scorpion. Anyone's weak against a 6-star Chieftain. It's the fact of trying to be able to get shit like that. That's the problem, though. It's not likely in most matches. ODSTs are pretty much always going to happen. in a 3v3. Like, they're almost always going to happen unless your team just gets absolutely rushed out the ass. Right? So, yeah. I think I said my take on all this. My voice is out now. My voice is drained, Bubba. Ah, damn. A lot of talking and a lot of thinking went on in this video, let me tell you. But damn, like I said, Captain Cutter, he's the Big Daddy. He's Big Daddy of Halo Wars. You don't mess with Big Daddy. He fucks you in your butt. That's how he does it. He's really, really strong. The best character in Halo Wars, like, no doubt in my mind. Like, I don't care what anyone says. There is no change in that in my mind. That Cutter is the best. It's almost not even close. Like, apart from Anders, like, it's not even close. Cutter just has so much advantages, especially in late game. And the scariest thing about Cutter is that he just progressively gets stronger and stronger and stronger as the match goes on. There's, like, no limit to his power, pretty much. That's what's scary about it. That man is just getting it, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if, he just called in a spirit of fire on your ass and just started blowing your base up left and right. I wouldn't be surprised. That motherfucker doesn't play around. He ain't playing the game. He's just fucking you in the butt. That's what he's doing. Yup. That's what he's doing right there. Yup. Drilling you a new asshole to poop out of. That's what my man Cutter's doing. He's getting it, dude. He's fucking y'all in the ass. I know I've been drilled by Cutters all day, every day back then. That's especially if there's 3 Cutters, dude, and they're dropping they all get ODSTs and they're dropping everywhere. It's like, bro, it's pain. There's nothing else to say but pain. It's pain at that point. Utter fucking pain. I mean, honestly, I feel like there's a hell that if you go to this specific hell, the only thing that you're going to be taking is ODSTs up the ass. That's it. It's just going to be fucking ODSTs that jump on your ass. That's one version of hell that exists for sure. There's going to be fucking ODSTs just dropping down all over the place. You kill like 40 of them and then like another 100 million come on your ass. Just start beating you down like fucking bitch. That's how it is. That's how it is, really. I love going into detail with this shit, man. This is why I love this shit. It's so fun. Anyway, I hope that narrows everything down. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, a comment, and that other word, that sub button. Give me a subway. I love my subs. Anyway, yeah, my voice is fucking dead. That's all for me for now. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a good, and I do mean a good rest of your day. If you don't have a good rest of your day, that sucks, bro. That's all I gotta say about it. That's tough. I mean, you have a good rest of your day. You should have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna wish you good luck for a good day. How about that? Yeah. That's what I'm gonna do. You have a good luck charm. Congratulations. If you made it fucking... How long is this? An hour and 4 minutes? What the fuck? Where did that time go? Holy hell, man. Alright, well, I'll be ending it now. Golly, hour and 4 minutes. I really want to talk about Big Daddy, I guess. Jesus. Alright. Alright, I'm ending it now. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I'll be posting the next video tomorrow. They're not going to be taking 2 days anymore. They're going to be coming out day after day. So, that's one thing to look forward to, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it coming. Woo, buddy. I'll be trying to get better at edits and all that shit. And, I don't know why I don't just put this on an update video, but, fuck my ass, I guess. I don't know. Alright, that's all I got. Bye. For real this time, I'm going by now. Alright. Peace!